Hello, guys. Nothing like a good cup of tea in the morning, or a coffee if that's what you prefer. So, a lot of times there's the question of what makes a good insert noun here, phrase, terminology. Usually it refers in the kink community to a good dominant. Not a lot of people ask about good subs. A lot of people do ask about good dominance. And a lot of people write a lot of things. I mean, there's many prolific writers on the internet, and there are a lot of things that they do write which are kind of true, I would say, but also anybody can write about anything, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually live that life. Or what they say kind of rings true, but again, not a lot of people it can speak to, but it doesn't quite get there. So, a lot of this comes into mind because currently there is a case, not long ago, a few years ago, there was a case that finished up to do with the kink community, and scandal, and consent, non-consent, and all sorts of other stuff. Now, a lot of people look at it as a kind of like a cult thing. I said, yes, that could be. But like many other things, like many other beliefs, religions, systems, way of living, if you go to the extremes, it can seem like that. And for some, it is. Now, this brought into mind the question of what makes a good D-type. A lot of people do throw in the whole honest, upfront, good person kind of. I call it arbitrary, but I know that there's definitions and they can be very specific. But depending on the dynamic and person to person, they can be different things. So, I guess to me, in my mind, when I talk to people and they ask me problems or questions about, who, what, when, where, why, is this normal? I say, look, just because it's a kink or a BDSM relationship doesn't mean you treat it any different to any other relationship that you've had in your life. If there are red flags, if there are things that you're uncertain of, by all means, question or even leave. You can leave, as much as I know it can be hard for a lot of people to leave because they get convinced that this is what they want, that this is what they signed up for. You can still walk away. Don't let them guilt you into staying. That's very manipulative. You stay because you want to. You stay because it's beneficial to you and your relationship and your future. Any good dom or any good sub, even if it's not working for all parties, will walk away. A lot of good doms, in my mind, do encourage contact with normal, regular, and other people, not just in their little circle. Some who want it 24/7, I've seen and talked to people that have it almost 24/7, because the dominant says, okay, for one day every couple of weeks or once a week, you go and do normal things, normal stuff, talk to your family, friends, relatives, kids, all that sort of thing. So you go out, have a normal life. You still are in a 24/7 because you are doing it at the behest of the dominant, but the reason why the dominant does want them to go out is to make sure that one, they get that balance in life, and two, that they maintain contact and are aware if they ever want or it becomes too much for them, they can then have a better transition out from that relationship. Um, I would raise eyebrows at ones that didn't. Um, Even submissives I've met have talked to their dominants when they felt the dominant has become too involved in them, and that's not what they wanted, and said, "Look, that's not what I wanted. Um, this is the relationship I signed up for. I don't want it to go beyond these boundaries." Even submissives can do that. So it depends a lot on where you're at the moment in your life. You might want a full-on relationship, but then it might not be what you need. What's happened in the last hour, day, week in your life? How is it fitting? One of the things that I ask people is like, are you willing to put in the effort? Or are you just going to be lazy and go, oh, I'll put in so much effort, but then, nah, I'm not willing to go that extra because it's, some things can be scary. Um, Going out of your comfort zone, particularly with regards to relationships, is scary. It's like I watched a Q&A on Abra and Preach, and there's this girl who caught up and says, my parents, they had a cheating thing, and all the guys that I've been with have cheated on me, so I want to know what's wrong, how can I fix it? And I'm like, well, one thing that struck me was that they said that, they started dating and they stopped at some people because they said they saw all these red flags. But then they kept going on with relationships where they didn't see red flags, and then they ended up being a cheater. So I was thinking, so maybe those red flags to you at the time might have seemed like red flags, but is it red flags, or is it that it's going into a relationship where you're uncomfortable with different sorts of people? So if you're used to recognizing cheaters and going out with cheaters and all sorts of other stuff in your life, this could be the faithful ones, and what seems like red flags aren't really red flags. It's just you being cautious or anxious or wanting to back out of something or a type of relationship that you aren't familiar with. You're familiar with the cheating aspect, the cheating ones, the cheating relationships. And to go further takes a big step, and going out of your comfort zone. There are many times when in relationships I've actually said or thought, how far do I want to take this? Do I want to go that next step, or do I want to keep repeating the patterns that I have been doing over the past in relationships? It is difficult. It's very scary. It's tempting to go back into old habits, old emotional habits that you do. So, to that end, at the time, what was for me, I needed, as uncomfortable as it was, someone or a D type who was going to be honest. And usually my pattern behavior at that time was to just have things go on in my mind, talk to anyone else but the person that I'm having an issue with, and just, build up resentment and all sorts of other stuff. And I try and encourage people to talk to me. I can be hard to talk to because I can be quite blunt, particularly when it comes to certain things in my life. And other people get confused because I can be a bit too blunt. But then that's the thing of asking the question, what do you mean? How do you mean? What's the context? And stuff like that. So yeah, honesty definitely is a good thing, but figure out what is it that you want in honesty. For some people, there's lying by omission, and realistically, some people can just forget to mention stuff. Again, big things, contextual. It depends on what's going on at the time. But think about what you want out of a relationship, what you need at the time, what you want. Do they match up? think a lot about where and how far you want it to go. Think about the balance that you've got to maintain and keeping in check the reality of the situation, reality of your life, and the reality of what you want long term, because relationships can be very long and very lasting, but a lot of them, they're there for a period of time. I say short period in general because even though years may seem a long time for a lot of people, when you look at the span of how long you can live your life, it can be short. But remember, not everyone is meant to be there for you your whole life. Look honestly at your relationship. Has it met its goal? Is it something you want to take forward more? Has it changed, and can you go with the change? And still be friends, partners, and whatever. I mean, relationships evolve. That's pretty much it. So just think about whether it evolves for the better and to the benefit of everybody. Okay? Well, that's a pretty deep topic for hump day. It's been raining a lot, so my pumpkin, I have a pumpkin that's like huge. I think it's almost 30 centimeters long. The butternut pumpkin, huge. I don't know. It's starting to turn orange, so I think I'm going to be cutting it off the vine soon, if only to let the rest of the vine grow. Anyway, I gotta go. Catch you later. Bye.